In B. Wordsworth by V.S. Naipaul, the author gives the message that anyone can become a poet if they acknowledge and value their natural surroundings through characterization, setting, and character relationships. The author shows Wordsworth's love for nature through characterization. He said, "I want to watch your bees. We had 4 small guru palm trees, and they were full of uninvited bees." Wordsworth is appreciative of nature in any form, even the smallest things. Later in the story, the boy visits Wordsworth's house for the first time. The yard seemed all green. There was a big mango tree. There was a coconut tree, and there was a plum tree. The place looked wild, as though it wasn't in the city at all. You couldn't see all the big concrete houses in the street. Although he lived in the city, Wordsworth wanted to be around nature. Further on in the story, B. Wordsworth and the boy walk around in their neighborhood. We climbed Chancellor Hill in the late afternoon, and watched the darkness fall on Port of Spain, and watched the lights go on in the city and on the ships in the harbor. Wordsworth not enjoyed nature, but he enjoyed his non-natural surroundings. Naipaul also shows the importance of nature through different settings in the story. After the boy was beaten by his mother, he runs to Wordsworth, and Wordsworth takes the boy for a walk at night to see the stars. Wordsworth teaches the boy to appreciate nature. Next, when the boy had spent some time with Wordsworth, he questioned him about the wild backyard. Wordsworth's backyard was an irregular yet significant setting, especially since he lived in the city. It shows the importance of nature. After Wordsworth dies and the boy returns, he is not able to find Wordsworth's house. It had been pulled down, and a big 2-story building has taken its place. The mango tree and the plum tree and the coconut tree had all been cut down, and there was brick and concrete everywhere. He contrasts nature and man-made environments, which shows the importance of nature in poetry. Lastly, Naipaul gives the message that anyone can become a poet if they appreciate nature through the relationship between Wordsworth and the boy. "You really think I is a poet? You're as good as me," he said. Wordsworth believes that the boy is a poet, and gives the boy hope and motivation. Toward the end of the story, as Wordsworth is dying, he tells the boy the secret of being a poet. "That story I told you about the boy poet and the girl poet, do you remember that? That wasn't true. It was something I just made up. I left the house and ran home crying like a poet for everything I saw." Wordsworth makes the point that anyone can become a poet. The boy realizes the truth and acknowledges himself as a poet. In essence, the message that anyone can be a poet if they acknowledge and value their natural surroundings is shown throughout the story with different literary elements such as characterization, setting, and character relationships. This is an important message because it teaches the readers that they too can become a poet. It encourages the readers and gives them the inspiration. It also teaches the significance of nature and poetry.
The most important thing we learned about Latin America was that it suffered greatly after the colonial era. European colonization damaged Latin America in many different ways, and they can be seen through literature. We also learned that Naipaul had been traveling frequently, and that gave him a unique perspective on his writing.
V.S. Naipaul gives the message that anyone can become a poet if they acknowledge and value their natural surroundings through characterization, setting, and character relationship in his work. Thank you for listening. This has been Chris and Heewon.